Morning. My name is Ray. I'm with Team S.t.e.a.m. This morning I'm here at Flash Industrial Painting because I'm going to go ahead and put together my work truck. What I mean by that is I'm going to take this truck here. It's a 2008 F-250 Super Duty, and I'm going to turn it into my work truck. I picked it up here, a month or two ago, and as you can see, it's got quite a few problems, and you'll get to see in detail what those problems are and how I choose to address them as this goes on. But this project is going to take place over just the next few days and the next few videos. And when it's all done, I'll have myself a work truck that I can rely on for years and years. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pull all the bolts and wiring off this bed and disconnect the wiring and pull all the bolts off the bed and then pull the gas inlet loose. And then I'm going to go get the crew, and they're going to help me get this bed off of here and help me put another bed that I have sitting outside off of a similar year on this truck that's also white. It's pure white, doesn't have the black on it. And then I'll back the truck back in, and then I'll begin the process of putting together body work and decisions and paint work and what's going on, what's leaving, what's staying. All those sorts of things will be addressed at that point. So now the boys and I have got these beds mostly swapped out. We've got the one that came off the truck flipped upside down, and then this bed we flipped was on its top. We flipped it over onto this garden cart here. This garden cart right here, we use them for everything. Got a couple of them, and they're always in use. I put never flat tires on them, that way they're ready to go whenever I need them. My wheelbarrows, same thing. All my carts, my dolly carts, all of them have never flat tires on them. It's a little bit of an investment, but they're always ready to go when you need them. So we got this other bed, which is basically a new bed, but the person who I got it from over the years has moved it a couple of times, and when they did, they set it down a little hard and tightened up that angle quite a bit. You can see this side, how kind of straight that is compared to how kind of tight that angle is, and it actually wrinkled this up pretty good and pushed that in quite a ways. So I'm going to straighten that out a little bit, and there's a little bit of similar work on the back I'm going to do, but outside of that, it's in really good shape. And I'm going to cut these 4 bolts off. I had to, there's right there, across from it, and right there. Some super smart individual, I probably can't get it on film, but some super smart individual put some epoxy type stuff on there as like a thread locker, and it wouldn't come loose with anything at all. So I had to cut 4 of them. So super convenient. And here's the box that we pulled out. And as you can see, it had a lot of problems. It's really wrinkled up and dented up, and that's all fine. I've dealt with far worse. But one of my customers right here in town, literally half of a mile from here, had that other box just sitting there in their yards for years. So I picked it up for a few $100, and of course I'm going to put it on. This one was salvageable, but here's my biggest problem with it right here. See, this brace is supposed to go all the way across. See how they actually cut the entire brace out and cut all this metal out, and then they just put a flimsy tin patch in there to make up for it. So the next time you put a really heavy load in this box, it's going to buckle right there. And they did that so they would have access to the fuel pump, because apparently at some point this fuel pump had gone out, which this truck has a couple 100,000 miles on it, and you know it's going to happen. But at some point it happened, and they couldn't get the box off because some other yahoo had over glued the threads for some reason, and so they didn't get it out. They just hacked a giant hole in it, cut the frame out of the box and everything. So that's the biggest single reason that I wanted this other box on this truck. Okay, so the box is on and bolted down. 4 of the bolts had to be cut, and I just happen to have 4 replacements that are actual box bolts and of the same size, so it all worked out. It's all bolted in. Now we're on to the next step, which is this driver's side door. You can tell by the black line down it, you can see it's swayed way in. That's because it was bashed way in. Maybe you can even see this little rib right here, this little individual rib. That's the bar that runs down the door that keeps you from getting your legs broke when you get hit in the side. That's that bar. That's how hard this got mashed. And I don't think it got hit by a vehicle. I think that it ended up into like a dirt bank or a half rollover or something like that. It seems like to me what happened, the way it mashed itself around this. But either way, the whole thing is shoved clear back. And so what I'm going to do is I pulled the door panel off. And once I got the door panel off, I realized that this door got hit so hard that there's a big bend right here at the end of where that pipe is. That's the pipe that I was showing you on the outside. And this was cracked and broken all the way down along here and around this mount. And this mount is the one of the slides for the window. And that's the bottom mount for it. It goes right there. I'm going to be drilling that hole out here pretty quick. And everything around here was cracked. You can maybe even see the crack right there. And it ran all the way down and around. So I got that all glassed up last night. Left it overnight so it could get good and cured out. And now I'm going to pull this seat out of here because I was going to anyway. Yeah, I've got to recover the entire seat. I've got a cover for it. I've got a cushion for it. I've got this side plate for it. I've got this adjuster for it. I've got the outer plate. I've got this handle. I got all that stuff. So I got to pull the seat out anyway to do all that. While the seat's out, I'm going to get my porta power in here, close the door, and then put a board across this rib, this upper rib right here. That's the one you can see is swayed in so far, and shove on a little bit and see if I can't get it to shove back out some with the door closed. So I've got my porta power set out. This is my small one. This is my 3-ton or 4-ton. I've got a 10-ton as well. And I'm going to set it up in here in this space between this seat and that bar, but clear at the front of that opening, and try and push on it and see what it looks like. Now, if you want to take your work truck and put undercoating around here and across the bottom, like you see these work trucks that have that, right, like this one has, except for they did it terribly, and then sometimes it goes up over the fender. But you're worried about being able to mask that and not have it look like a, you know, a connect the dots. What you do is you just build one of these. This one actually says 01 Ford on it because this is the one I used on my other black and white truck, and I just saved it. I mean, it doesn't take up much space, and it's got multiple holes drilled in it, so you have multiple options. This will be the hole I'd be going with, this end hole right here. What you do is you take that bolt and you ride it under here, put your pin up here, and mark your entire thing. You have to be careful about it, but as long as you're careful, it'll come out pretty darn even. And then you can just mask to that line and you know it's going to be even looking. That's the trick that I've used for years and years, and I have a lot of these. I have a drawer that's got a dozen of these in there, all marked for different vehicles and different things I've done. So just in case I had to visit that vehicle again, I would have the original stencil. So I'll take this, put the pin in here like that, and that's where I'll make my marks. See, that leaves a pretty nice even surface there. Now I can just mask to that and we know that it's going to look right. Okay, so I've got the pickup masked up from the old black departure, you know, between the black and the white. From there up, except for on the door, I had that masked and I pulled that all loose and pulled it up out of the way because I want to fit my design on there, then put that over there. Then I can cut that out according to what needs to be cut out, because it is going to protrude up onto the door a little ways. And I'll show you what I mean. What I'm starting with here is a sheet of regular masking paper. It's about 3 by 3 roughly. And an image that I found online. It's a free image, so I'm not stealing somebody's work. And I'm going to work with that image and probably alter it a little bit, just to kind of suit what I'm trying to do. And I'm going to lay it all out on here, and then I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to lay it on both sides of the pickup and trace it out. So here's what I've come up with. It's probably not going to read too well. But once I get it all cut out, then it'll be slightly less confusing. And once I get it traced on the truck, it'll be just as confusing as it is right now. And then once I get it masked up, it'll be every bit as confusing as it is right now. And then once I get it unmasked, it'll start to make sense. So this is all I'm cutting out for now. There's a lot of these details inside need to be cut out, but if I cut them all out, this thing would be in absolute pieces. And I don't want to piece it onto the truck like that right now. What I need is the initial outline, and I do have that. So that's what I'm going to copy onto the truck right now, so I know exactly my spacing and how everything needs to work and what all needs to be prepped. That's what's important. Once I go to actually trace this on there, then I'll cut all these details out and go through that kind of painstaking process. So you can see I've traced the outermost outline on, and now I've made a fake line from what needs to be new white and what can be left old white. And the reason I distinguish between the two is because right here and a couple spots up here are a couple areas where the white just flows into the project, and I don't really want a line there. I want it to be the exact same white, and I want it to flow. So from here down is going to be all the new white. From here up will be the factory white. And I'm going to drop this plastic over it, cut that out, and begin all the body work. So here it is, all with the undercoater all stripped off. As you can see, it's beat pretty good. I got most of that actually knocked back out yesterday. It was beat in far worse yesterday. But we've got this started, and now it's about time for some body work. Well, that's about all I'm going to get done today. See you guys around.